It's gonna poof. I got the peninsulars. You don't have your microphone on or something, Dana.
Are you going to pull up the coach tactic board?
No, I don't believe that I am. Today is review, so it's video. So I'm going to have to just pause and show them stuff. But I could, I guess.
So we're back in the gym this week.
Sweet.
Yeah, so we got to practice yesterday.
Oh, that's so cool. So weird right now. It's very hot.
Woo! Kick it, bring it. There's a tiny little bug flying around my head. Hate that tiny little bug. Okay, everybody, let's start going. I don't know who's here. Got a few folks. Oh, Mercedes, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Are you still in Germany?
Yeah, I don't leave until the 12th.
It's kind of amazing to me that we can talk that quickly and you're clear around the whole world. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Shocking. I'm going to throw a quick group me message out. You guys see that Tina is coming? Did you guys see my group me that said that? You're muted.
Yes.
Yeah, it's exciting news. Hawaii, we got Hawaii. I'm collecting states. I'm gonna get them all. Pokemon. Can't get to group me. These contacts make it so hard to see.
So I got my other banner for softball, and it looks so ugly, so I didn't put it on my wall.
A banner for softball.
Yeah, so like we get big banners as seniors.
Oh.
Like my volleyball one I have because it's like it's good. It's like zoomed out, but like they zoomed in like 20 times on my softball one, and it looks so bad.
Oh no.
But good thing I didn't pay for it because I would have been mad.
Well, that's good. Didn't pay for it. That's always good. It's like Christmas presents for my mother. It's a terrible present, but at least I didn't pay for it. Okay. So what were we talking about last time? It's review of that. Who remembers? I think only one of you were here for sure. Oh, Kayla was here too. Who remembers? What were we talking about? Everyone's here in Mercedes' forehead. Somebody give me an answer.
Oh, we're talking about reads.
Yeah, defense in general. We're talking about defense. Yeah. We're talking about the different reads that there are per position versus outside hitters and all that good stuff. And I was encouraging everyone to read their hey, Mercedes is in the light. I like that. All right.
Hey.
We're sharing similar hair today, Mercedes. There's a lot of humidity going on here. My hair exploded today.
That's to believe you'll see this a lot.
What's that?
I said you'll see this a lot because this is my game day hair. So
I like it. Gotta go. I like that. Okay. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna try to see versions of this on video. Now, obviously, the video hasn't worked real well, so I'll just pause and we'll take a look. First thing, though, I want to go over, though, which we have not gone over yet, is posture, movement, efficiency of movement, all that kind of stuff. So how do you move within a read? So you're on your read, and then the ball's to your right. What do you do? So you're in your read, and then the ball gets hit to your right, or in receive, and the ball gets hit to your right. What are you guys going to do? Anyone got a guess? Anyone want to shout it out? The ball's not coming directly at you. What are you going to do?
Move to your right.
You're going to move to your right. That's a great start. See, they're not all rocket science, guys. Sometimes it's just common sense. You just got to start talking. How do you move to your right? Oh, now it's going to get harder. So what we're going to do is, in our gym, and this is one of my dogma things, I actually do believe in this, and it's going to be pretty much beaten on you for a while. We're going to move what we call the ball side foot. Okay? So I'm going to share my picture here with you now. Okay. What foot do you think is your ball side foot? If the ball is to your right, which foot is that?
You're right.
Yeah, you're right. That is correct. What can you guys see?
We can see it.
yeah.
Try to get a little bigger. Does it help when I make it bigger, or is it not? It's sixes. Did it change for you just now?
Yeah, but it's not that big.
Yeah, it just looks normal.
How about now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
That's better? Okay. So what we're looking at here, I'm not a real fan of how my liberos stand it, but what we're looking at here is just a bunch of people that serve receive, relaxed. They're on their feet evenly. The woman in the middle, she's a little bit wide for what I usually like, but it also depends on how slow you are. She's pretty slow. So the slower you are, the more you can... Hey, by the way. Tina just told me her deposit went in this morning, so we can actually do a press release on her. Yeah. Okay. So what you can see, though, is that they're evenly spaced. Generally speaking, if you watch the young lady that my cursor is on, that's the one that we should be paying attention to. Her hands are a little low for my flavor, but at the same time, it's received, so it's not that big a deal. Okay. So the ball is going to get served. and then she's going to instantly take a step to her right. I don't know if you guys saw that, but she instantly took a step to her right. See the young lady next to her? See how she spread out? She took a step to her right. See her? She took a step to her right. All of the players that are vaguely in this receive took a step towards where the ball is. This young lady right here took a step to her left. Now, one of the things you can notice is they're not pointing their feet, and that's something that we're going to work on a lot. So see her foot? Her foot is not open. Her foot is towards where the ball is coming from. Her foot towards where the ball is coming from. Her foot towards where the ball is coming from. Her foot towards where the ball is coming from. You guys see that? This is one of the things that I will talk about a lot in our gym. Why is that? Why do I care if you open that foot or not?
Does it make it easier to move around?
It makes it a little harder to move around, actually. I'll be honest with you. It does make it harder to move around. Think about it. If you're pointing your foot where you want to go, it's easier to move in that direction.
Isn't it easier to get the ball in that direction too, because where your foot's pointing?
So if you keep your feet in like that, it's going to keep your hips, it's going to keep your shoulders, it's going to make it easier to create an angle where the ball will stop. If you open that foot, your hip's going to open, it's going to flatten your platform, and you're going to ole that thing up into the crowd. Think about how many times you pass the ball where the ball is outside of you, and you opened your hips on it, and then all of a sudden the thing was spraying out into the audience. That thing happens a lot to a lot of players. Go back and watch your film and find every time you pass the ball that's sprayed hard out to your right or to your left. And then actually watch your hips and your foot and see how much you opened on that play. I guarantee you the majority of those, your hips opened up on it. Your hips didn't try to stay in on the pass. All right? This woman here in the middle of the screen, and I think some of you I may have showed you her before, she is absolutely the slowest player I've had that was also fantastic. How do you think that she made up for being slow? Pardon?
Was able to dig out the ball.
She made up for it by being fundamentally sound like crazy. Everything she did had purpose, and every read she made was amazing. And this is why this is leading into defense. You can be slow as the day is long and still be one of the best defenders in the conference if you can read and you move in a way that's efficient and is going to give you the best angles on the ball. So let's watch her get on this ball. Where did she pass that ball? Can anyone kind of see where it hit her? Could we see it? Let me go back just a hair, see if I can get it right on her. Okay, where is it?
Center line?
It's center line, 100%. Center line, okay? Center line. Anytime you can get to a ball that's going to be comfortably on your center line and pass it, you should. But what else should you notice about what she's doing right now? There's more to it. It's subtle, guys, but it's still very, very relevant. Take a look at her. What did I say about her feet and all that other stuff? Okay, so what we call this is she's surrounding the ball. Not only is she on the ball, she's keeping her shoulders in on the ball. She's attacking this pass. You can see her shoulders attacking this pass. You can see her feet around the ball. Her hips aren't open. She's not playing off the ball at all. She's on the ball. If this was a football game and she was trying to make a tackle, she would level the person that was coming at her. She is squared up and she is on the ball. Her shoulders aren't. You can't tell where she's trying to pass this ball right now at all. You can just tell where the ball came from. You You have no idea where she's trying to pass this. None, other than the fact that you've played volleyball before and you're aware where the target should be. If you had no idea about volleyball, you would say she's trying to pass this directly back where the ball came from. And that's how it should look. It should look mundane and boring and all that good stuff. Now on the follow through, I went a little too far. Hold on. She stays on this ball hard. Okay, right there. The ball is gone. Where are her shoulders?
Towards the setter.
No, they are not. Look at them. Don't take that hard when I say no, guys. Don't. That's not the guy judging you or nothing. So where are they really? Look at them. Are they really at the center? Is she turned towards the center right now?
No.
No, she's not. She's where the ball came from. Still. Why? Anybody got a guess? I've already said it. What's the most important thing about a pass or a dig or anything? What's the most important thing? What result are you going for?
Getting it to the setter.
That's great. That's perfect, but that's not the most important thing.
Is it getting your shoulders square?
That is definitely one of the things that I think is important, but I'm talking about a result. Like, what result is the most important thing when you're passing?
Impact absorption.
Nope. Like the result, guys, not how you do it.
To get the ball nice and high.
Playable. It doesn't have to necessarily be high, but playable. Playable is what we're going for here. And again, I already said this, guys. If you open your hip, if you open your foot, you're going to make an unplayable ball. We talked about this earlier, and where we said playable balls go, like if they're shanked, the playable shanked balls are behind or on top of the player. The balls that go right and left are not typically playable. They usually shoot off and go somewhere that you can't play. So being on the ball and being where the ball came from makes a playable ball. Period. That's the best way to make a playable ball. Now, within that, you're going to make angles. You're going to get the ball to go to a place where we can run something dynamic and all that good stuff. And that's how you're going to steer that by dropping a shoulder or playing a shoulder over the top, whichever way you want to think about it. In this case, you can see that her left hand her left arm is slightly higher than her right side. It's a slight slope to that side. It's not a huge pass there, so she doesn't have to do anything crazy. But she's creating an angle. Everyone see that? Of course, she makes a great pass out of that. Okay. Again, you can see her here. Let's watch this one more time. Okay. She makes a little false step, but the ball's coming to her. She's getting on the ball. She's staying on the ball. She got a little forever here on accident, but she stays on the ball. See that? She's staying on the ball. She's using her head. You can see her head looking to her right. She's not putting her body to her right. She just created an angle to her right. Now, here's the thing. When you miss this kind of a pass, where's the ball going to end up typically? If you're playing a ball inside of your body, you're staying on the ball, and you miss the pass. Where's it going to end up? Anybody got a guess? It's something that I think is good. So even when you make a mistake, it ends up being better than if you're making bad form. Nobody got a shot at it? Anna, take a guess.
Where is it gonna what?
End up.
In the middle of the court?
Where's the ball going to go if you do all the things right, but then mess up the pass?
The middle of the court.
Yep. It's going to end up in the middle of the court somewhere. which some people try to pass there. Some teams are actually promoting that and saying that's the best place to pass. I'm not one of those people. I like aggressive passing. But for me, if you make a mistake and it ends up in a place where some people think it's the best pass anyway, to me, that's a win. That's a super win. And that is the truth. It's going to go up. It's going to go towards the middle of the court. All of those things are going to happen. So let's go forward here. Again, balance, move, on the ball, staying on the ball. She turned on that one a little. Okay, she's a little spread out. I'm not a giant fan of that. You can see how solid she is on the ball, guys. Okay, let's move on. Any questions about that? Ball side foot, center line passing whenever possible. We're not going to define right and left. We're not going to say a ball to your right is not yours. We're not going to do that. We're going to actually talk about that. It is and when it is not. I don't like to exclude people from moving and being instinctual and going to get the ball to their right. How many of you did not pass balls to your right in serve receive? None of you? Wow, that's interesting. Most teams, like someone I guarantee you that's not here did that. The reason that is statistically you pass the ball better to your center line and then to your left are your best two passes. Right is your third best pass. That being the case, it doesn't mean that your pass to your right is worse than somebody else's pass to their left. So therefore, we don't just train that way because we want, like, say, a libero. We want them to take up a lot of room, and that means sometimes they have to move to their right. Okay, let's move on to defense. Defense. Oh, I forgot to say this. Okay, what kind of pass is this that she's doing right now? What kind of pass is that? Basic stuff, guys. You know this. Come on. What kind of a pass is this?
She's using her hands.
Yeah, there you go. What is that also called? It's also called overhead. What we call this style of passing in our gym, so you don't get confused between this and setting, because this is not setting. You perform this differently. This is called a mangle. Taking the ball with your hands to remind you that this isn't setting. We're calling this a mangle. All right? What's the difference between the mangle and what she was doing before? Look at where she's facing right now. Where is she facing now? See if I can have it here. Where's she facing?
Her body's facing the setter now.
Yes, and that is the difference between a mangle and a pass. You don't create an angle on a mangle. You throw it straight to the setter. So there is a difference between overhead passing and underhand, and then below the waist passing, as far as how you hold your body and what you do. So now she is facing the target, and she is mangling the ball to her. You can see how fundamentally sound she is if you can catch this ball. Oh, blocking. Let's go forward. We don't need to see blocking. Defense. Oh, this is her setting. Let's get past that. By the way, this player who is setting right now in a college game was never a setter in her entire life, and I trained her to be a setter, and she became a setter. And the reality of that is, that's why we're all going to train to do a lot of things. Okay, so here's middle back defense, guys. Okay, what's the first thing you should be looking at? I'm the middle back defender right now, okay? And the left back defender. These are the two things that they both should be looking at. What's the first thing that they should be seeing right now in this still that makes obvious what's about to happen?
The middles, well, your middles are never late. The middle took a false step.
She didn't take a false step. Actually, if you look at her, she's taking a really good step. She's taking a huge step out to the target, out to the hitter.
There's a big seam.
There's not going to be a big seam. That's what I'm saying. She's taking a huge step. She's going to make it. So when you see the left back right now and the middle back, they're staring through this net, and they see her lean and how fast she's actually going. I know it's hard to get this in without real time. You should know immediately she's going to make it. What does that say for you? If you're the left back, what should you be thinking? And you know the middle's going to make it. She's going to close the block. She's going to make it. What do you think instantly if you're the left back?
You're chasing, so you're staying behind her.
Yes, you are. You're chasing, and you're going to stay behind her. Mercedes, you might have missed this piece, so you might want to watch the other one, and so that you're going to chase her. What does that put you on your read there, Anna? What read is that then? Do you remember?
On the inside of her shoulder.
Yes, and it's called, what is it called? Everything past 12 feet and inside of the middle block or on a regular block is what? In front of 12 feet, it's the hard angle, and after that, it's what?
Just angle.
Angle. There you go. So her read is angle. That's what she's looking for. And she's going to chase. Mercedes, what that means is, as the middle, which I've highlighted here, moves towards the outside, the left back is going to try to see this hitter that I'm pointing at right now to the left of the middle. As the middle continues out, she's going to follow that middle and continue to see that hitter. Does that make sense? So she's chasing her. You got that? You following this, Kayla? You were here before.
Yes, it makes sense.
Okay. Beautiful. Kayla, you with us?
Yep.
Okay. So what's the middle back going to do?
She's going to come up, right? Because if there's no seam, then she's
there-
still going to go to the seam, but
Yes. There's not a big seam, though, Anna, so she's not going to have to cut. There's not going to be a big seam. She just has to read the seam.
okay.
So another way to think about that is you could think of her chasing the middle, which she shouldn't be thinking that way. She's racing. She's not chasing. I'm sorry, not chasing. Racing the middle. She's chasing the right side. That's what she's doing. So right now, you can see her head already looking. See it? Her head is already turned. And
Yeah.
she is looking. You can see her right foot off the floor. And she's already thinking, I got to move right and find this seam, which I'm pointing at generally speaking right now. And she's going to try to get to the edge of that right side blocker and find the seam. See it? So she has found the seam. She is looking at the angle, although not very well, to be honest with you. She should be even at this point. With the middle back, now, again, this demonstrates the difference. This is a better athlete that I'm pointing at as far as defense goes. She's a better athlete, but she's not prepared in the way that she is.
Yeah.
She's staring right at this. She is not as good as position, as good a posture. The ball's on the hitter's hands. She should be spread out like this young lady is here. These two are in great posture, waiting for this. If you notice, her hands are higher than her hands. Why?
Closer to the net.
She's closer to the play.
Yeah.
She's closer to the play, and the ball may come high on her. Whereas she's playing middle back defense, and she's vaguely near the in line. If the ball goes high on her, it's out. So she has no need to have her hands high. Make sense? See this young lady right here? She's just hoping she doesn't die because she's in a terrible place. She's in the seam. She shouldn't be there. Okay, let's take a look. Look how easy that is. Where are her shoulders right now?
Where the ball was coming from.
Where the ball's coming from. Look where her feet are. They're where the ball's coming from. She is fundamentally sound. And if you look across the board, it's the same. See her? She's taking a step with her ball side foot. Her foot is where the ball is coming from. Same thing right here. She's taking a step. with her ball side foot. All of these are the same. They're all doing the exact same thing. They're all reacting to the ball, even though they didn't get the ball. This is fundamentally sound. You prepare for the ball, even when you don't get it. You always do the same thing. And then she makes cheddar out of it. She just makes a meal out of this. She's like, this is easy. This is super easy. Easy. Super easy. Okay. So we're watching the same thing. You see the middle? The middle is not going to be late. The middle has made a very good reaction. A very good reaction here. She's already in her read. See how calm she is? She's standing in her read waiting for this. The player hasn't hit it yet. And now this libero is in a much better spot now also. She's seeing this much better. She's on the angle. She's on the seam. She's in the hard angle. She's on the line and she's cutting because she's behind the block. Easy. Defense should look boring.
Mhm.
All the amazing plays you make, there should be 100 plays you made that were boring. That's the reality of it. Look at that. That's a dime. They're going to run the middle out of that. Very good. So same thing. Here we go. Outside hitter. You can see them all moving to the read. She's sitting in it. Hard angle. Seam. Angle. Seam. Cutting the line. Easy. They go over the block a little bit. She's able to recover it. You can see how far the libero made it on that ball. Why is the libero moving that hard to that ball when it's obviously not hers? Who's got some guesses?
Well, you always follow, right? So if she were to shank that ball, she would be behind her to play it.
That's right. She's near the play now. She can do that. So that's one of the reasons. Why else? What happens when someone tries to punch you in the face, but they don't? So someone flicks her hand at your face. What happens? Someone does that to your face. What happens? Anybody?
They stop.
No, come on. What do?
You get annoyed.
Someone tries to poke you in the eye, but they don't actually poke you in the eye. What do?
You flinch?
Flinch. There you go. You 100% flinch. Volleyball is a sport that is so fast, if you decide if it's your ball before you move, you will be too late most of the time. You have to move to the ball and then decide if it's yours. You move, then decide. So everyone should be reacting to the ball. It's to my left or to my right, and just react and go. And then you'll be amazed at the plays you start making because you're just reacting every single time. And it becomes a borderline reflex. So you can get cues and move in ways that you are not aware of at this point because you haven't made yourself do this. You'll react and you will develop amazing skills as far as movement goes. And you will get to more balls than you ever thought you could. So one of the things about defense is just straight up hard work. You've got to move 20 times to get one dig kind of idea. And if you do that, you'll become a great defender. Okay, so here's the next one, guys. So the ball's getting set. Who is she reading when the ball's coming to the backside? So if the ball goes the outside, she's reading our right side. If the ball's getting set to their right side, who is the middle back reading?
The middle.
Nope.
Right?
Nope.
Oh,
So
you're
that's
outside.
the left and right back are reading, like the right back is reading the middle, for sure. The right back
So
is reading.
you're outside hitter.
Yes, she is. She's reading the outside hitter. Is this ball going to beat the outside hitter?
It looks like it.
For sure. The ball's already past her, and she hasn't even started moving yet. It's going to beat her. Okay? So this player right here should be going, this is going to be extra wide. This ball is going to travel out past the block. It's going to be extra wide. That's one of the terms we threw out last week. Should she be thinking the same thing, the Libra? Or does she have a different read?
She's going to take. Oh, well, she kind of has the same read. But she's just going to take line more, right?
She's correct. What do we do in a weak area of the court, Kayla or Mercedes? So we know that this ball is going to beat our block. We know it. We're aware of it. At this point, we already know that the ball is going to trap. Our block is going to end up somewhere where my arrow is, and the ball is going to end up past it towards the pin. We know it. So where is she going to hit the ball?
Line.
She's going to hit the ball line. That's the weak area of the court. So one of the precepts of our defense is, and we learned this last week, is that we're going to put two players in the weak area of the court all the time. If we know where they're hitting the ball, we're going to put two players there. Watch. See that huge step she took in the middle back? Look at the huge step she's taking in the right back. They're both aware that they're having to get to their second and third reads. They understand before the ball even gets hit that they're going, oh man, I've got to get to my read. And they're flying out trying to get to these reads. What's her read? What's the third read for the right back in this situation? Anna, can you figure this one out?
Seam.
It is seam. Perfect. That is exactly right. Look at their heads. Look at all their heads looking through the net. They're not staring at the ball. They're all down looking through the block at the play. They're not looking at the ball at all. They don't care. They're looking at the play. They're trying to get clean water. We call it clean water. They're trying to get a view of the hitter. That's what they're trying to do. And you can see them all moving very hard to try to get that clean view. The ball's on the hitter's hands now. They're trying to balance out. They're doing their best. It's not going to be perfect because that happened fast. Two players on the line. See it? Everything to this side of the block, to the left of the block on this play is line. So here's a player on the line. Here's a player on the line. They hit it on the line. Bam, dig. We're going right back at them. And that's because they understand how to read. That girl is slow as a 40-year-old dog. She's slow. She is slow, but she reads so well that it just doesn't matter. She made that look boring and easy. She made that look easy. That was not an easy play. Not an easy play. Okay, same thing. Right now, the ball, who's the middle back reading?
The right side.
Yeah, is that right side going to be late? Not late, but is that right side going to not make it to set the block correctly?
Yeah.
Yeah, why do you say that, Anna?
Because the ball's already. Well, I can't even see the ball right now.
The ball is directly above her head, basically. How we would know this in a game? Can you guys see the girl coming through the 3 zone, the 31, that middle hitter coming through, she's in the air?
Yeah.
So basically she bid on that. And she dropped to jump on that player. And as soon as you see that kind of bob, you know she's going to be late. You just know it. She got fooled. She's going to be late. The ball's going past her, but that's how you would know it. She took a false step, basically. Which also means it's going to jam up the middle and all that good stuff. So when all that stuff happens, what do people instantly have to think? The people that are cross court here and in the middle back.
Race.
Yeah, they're thinking race, but they're also thinking weak areas of the court, like third reads. They're thinking about they have to get off of their first read. And in this case, you're right, race. She's got to race the right side, And the fact of the matter is the libero has got to race the middle because the whole thing got jammed up. So they're both racing. Okay, let's see them do that. Can you see it?
Yeah.
So she's sitting on the extra wide, and the libero is actually all the way over to the seam. She is. It looks like they're in similar locations, but trust me, they're not. It changes every single time, and it changes on what's happening every single time. You can see she messed up. That pass ended up high in the middle of the court. That's an easy play for the center. Okay, now you can see one where it's easy. She's making a read here. It's a simple read. Most of the reads have been more towards the line side. But you can see right now, she's settling into the seam, and the seam just happens to be in the middle of the court. She's looking through the block and seeing that hitter. That is exactly what she's doing, and it took her to the middle of the court. And this is why I say this is confusing for other teams. They think we're past the corner line over and over and over, and then all of a sudden someone gets a chance to swing in the middle of the court, and there's someone making this play and making it easy. And they don't know why. They don't understand. They truly don't understand why. All they know is every time they take a swing, we get a dig. What do we call that? I've said it a few times. See if anyone remembers. Does anyone remember what I call that? Nope. It's called complexity through simplicity. So meaning, we are going to make very simple reads. Simple reads. Race, chase. We're going to read our blockers, and then we're going to settle in and try to read the hitter best we can. That's pretty much what we're going to do. We're going to make it as simple on ourselves as we can. We're going to give ourselves just a few keys, and then we're going to know where to be, and we're going to be able to react quickly and get to those areas of the court. They won't understand what our keys are or what we're looking at. They won't really truly understand it. And so they will start searching for areas of the court to hit. When that happens and they start searching, we talked about this last time, what will happen? So up to this point, we're not blocking to get blocks. We're blocking to funnel balls. We're blocking to get good reads for our defense. When they start searching, what will happen?
They're going to start tipping.
They're going to start tipping. That's 100% one of the things that will start happening, for sure. They'll start tipping. What else will happen?
They're going to go over the block.
They'll try to make shots over the block. And they'll also just try to swing hard and hit other areas of the court, which will mean they'll challenge the block more and they'll get more blocked more often. So if you look at my videos for most of my teams that are very good disciplined blocking, most of the blocks happen at the ends of sets, which are honestly the biggest, most fun blocks. You're blocking for a match point. You're blocking for set point. You're blocking for a big, important point at the end of a set, and then you're roofing somebody. And it's demoralizing to them, and then really start looking for those tips and shots because they're coming. Okay. Let's move on here. Let me move my little thing because I can't see. So recovering. Okay, middle back again. You can see where she's changing her spot. Now, okay, here's a good one to look at. Did the right side make it all the way to where we would normally be? What would we normally block?
Line.
Specifically, how far?
All the way out.
So it's called left hand on ball. Normally, if the hitter was hitting right there, we would want our right side all the way over here with her left hand on the ball. So squared up, face to face, way outside of the hitter, basically. She's not there. So you can see it changes some of our reads. And there's even a little bit of a hole. So there's no angle in this. So you can see the left back is jumping into the seam. It's not quite extra wide, so she's jumping into the seam. And you can see the right side is taking the line because she realized she's on cover. So she's not cutting. Now you can see that this actually looks very different than the defense did earlier. The setter isn't usually this far away. Look how far away our setter is now. And again, they don't understand why the setter is at 12 feet one instance and at 20 feet the next. They don't understand why. But again, we have two people that just naturally get to a weak area of the court here. See them? See how close they are together? You guys see that?
Yep.
Nod or say yes. How many of you played defense where you ended up this close together?
Never.
You did, Mercedes?
Yes.
When did you end up this close together?
We had a lot of inexperienced players because they were basketball players, so they didn't know how to play that good, and so they always would end up, because they didn't know the rules completely, so they always would end up on the side where they didn't need to be.
Fair enough. So in general volleyball terms, is this a good idea, generally speaking? Anna, is this a good idea to have two players this close together generally?
No.
No, it's not. It's a terrible idea. So what we do it because we know where they're hitting the ball, and that's when we do it. It's a great idea then. If you know where they're hitting the ball, why cover the rest of the court? Let them hit it you. And so you can see this, they're very close together because there's an area in this seam where that's the only plus. There's a couple things happening here. One, there is no angle. There's no angle. There's only a hard angle. There is no angle. So the libero instantly goes, no angle. I got to race. So our middle back's in her first read because there's no extra wide, and she's like, oh, there's a seam. So they're going to end up in the exact same place, and they're not going to even have to think about it. They're not going to have to think about why they're there or if it's a weak area of the court. They're not going to have to think about it. If they're going through their reads and doing what they're supposed to do, they're going to wind up in the same place. And that's fine because that's going to be a weak area of the court. And they don't even have to know it's a weak area of the court. They just have to go through their reads. Once again, she keeps her feet very well. The ball ends up in the middle of the court. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, we can see what's happening here. Someone tell me. Is there going to be a weak? Is there going to be an angle? So if I'm the right back right now, and I've seen where the middle is versus where the ball is, the speed of the set, is there going to be an angle?
No.
No, there's not. So what is she thinking, Anna?
Go to the seam.
Yeah, she's thinking start moving towards the seam, get behind the block, and look to see if a seam comes to her. That's what she's looking for. So what is she doing?
Moving towards the seam.
Yeah, what is that called?
Cutting.
No, cutting's moving towards the play. You've said it a bunch of times. You know this one. What is she doing?
Oh, she's racing.
She's racing the middle. And if you don't understand this yet, guys, make sure you're asking these questions because she's racing the middle. This right side right here, the arrow is on, is seeing that this middle isn't going to make it. So she's looking through the net at this hitter, and she's going to try to keep that hitter inside. So if the middle goes further, she's just going to continue moving to where she can see, regardless, so that she doesn't let the middle cross her. She's racing the middle. Okay? The middle back, is there going to be a seam?
Yes.
Yeah, there's going to be a seam. So what's likely about to happen?
Two people in a weak area.
There's going to be two people in the seam. See them? They're both in the seam. There they are. Two people very near each other. Easy. The dig makes it look simple. And it's all because they understand how to read. This young lady right here, number 6, was a middle blocker all through her high school career. Middle blocker. Never played back row once in her entire life. Got to college and she became a DS. Because she was able to read like crazy. She was great at reading. She was great at it. Did we have passers who could pass better than her in a drill if I hit it at them? 100%. But she was in the right place all the time. And the most important thing is that you get a playable ball. And every other player I had if they're in the right place, gave us a better ball, but they were never in the right place. And she was always in the right place. So there you go, guys. This is super important. Those of you that are great defenders or think you're great defenders, no, I will stick a 6'2" middle back there if they understand how to read better than you. So this is a hugely important area of volleyball for me. Reading. You can be the best player in the world if you're in the wrong place over and over, it just won't matter. Okay? Is everyone following me?
Yep.
Okay. So you're anticipating this? She's sitting on this read. I'm telling you, this is a 31. This is a fast set. And this young woman is slow, and she's still sitting on it and laughing at him. Because she can really read. Again, look how calm the defenders are. Look how calm they are. There's no one running around, freaking out. They're making life easy on themselves. Making calm plays. How many spectacular plays has this person put on her video? This middle back, how many spectacular plays are there on this highlight reel for her playing defense? How many?
None. They all look easy.
0. This is a junior college. Where did that player play after this?
Did she go to BYU?
No, she went to the Pac-12, though. She played in the best collegiate women's volleyball conference in the entire world, and she didn't send them one highlight where an amazing play happened. Not one. They never saw her make one amazing play. And the reality of it is, that's because if you're making an amazing play after amazing play after amazing play, you're doing it wrong. You did it wrong. It should be boring. Defense should be boring, 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 with an amazing play sprinkled in here and there because you're an amazing athlete. But overall, it should be dull. Okay, now here she is playing right side defense. And we should look at everybody else here too. So again, look what just happened. Did our middle get bit? Did our middle bite?
Yeah.
Yeah, she is. She's gonna be late. So instantly, see, she's making a bad read here, and sometimes there's gonna be tweens because it kind of looks like an extra wide, but really she probably should have been over here helping with this angle or the seam over here. But again, here's our right side, looking at that read, sitting on it. Easy. Okay, here we go again. Is there going to be a seam?
Doesn't look like it. Oh, well.
There's going to be a seam. You can see how you know if there's going to be a seam or not. If I'm the middle back, remember I'm looking at the right side. See how far out in front of the right side, our left side, I should say, our outside hitter. See how far in front of the play our outside hitter is?
Yeah.
She's going to stop the line. She's ahead of the play. She's going to, like right now, look at her looking through the block already. If you're looking through the block this early in the play and you're seeing a seam, there's going to be a seam. You're going to find the seam. Our right back is going to be in a tween position here because it's a right-hander hitting a slide step. There could be an angle. She might be helping with seam. She probably isn't sure yet, but what she's doing is spacing the play, and she's going to take a look at it for a second. Watch her. She doesn't go crazy going anywhere. See her just being calm and looking at the play, trying to figure out where it's going to be. Then she makes a read. See that? That's exactly right. She's calm. She's looking at the play. And then as soon as the middle crosses, she starts chasing like crazy to try to catch up to the middle. And then when that happens, she's sitting on it. Easy play. Our libero didn't go get the ball, but that's a bummer. Okay, any questions about that?
Nope.
All right. I'm going to stop sharing this thing. Here we go. How do I do that? Stop sharing. Okay. Okay, so we've gone over a lot of stuff, guys, and I want to show you that little bit of video there. But now I wanted to open it up. We have one more that we're going to be doing. It's going to be offensive in nature, and some theories and that kind of stuff. But we've been through a bunch, and a few of you have been here a lot. So I want to open it up at this point and say, I want to answer any questions you have about your playbook, what you're seeing, what you've been looking at. Anything you got confused about. And if you're not confused about something, bring something else up so other people can learn. I want to open up to you guys because we're closing in on being here, which is fantastic. Hi, Kylie. Kylie. Kylie's gone. Kylie, can you hear me? She says hi. Oh, there she says hi. Okay.
Yes.
All right, let's open it up. Let's ask some questions. Mercedes, have you been looking at your playbook at all?
I have looked at some of it, but I haven't had like the chance to because I've been running back and forth,
Fair
getting
enough.
like going to offices and like traveling to different places in Germany to get my paperwork finished and everything.
Is there anything that you've looked at and went, that's weird?
So far, no. So that's good because usually I'm like, oh God, because mind you, my last coach, he was a pretty good coach, but he had his favorite players. And then like when I was here still in Germany playing, our coach was that coach and he had no idea what he was doing. So it was more figure it out for ourselves type of thing. So
Yeah. There's going to be some aspects of playing volleyball I'm going to say figure out, and there's going to be a lot of aspects I say this is what I want you to do. And usually I let people try to figure it out, and then I tell them what to do if they can't figure it out. Kylie, any questions? You want to type something in? At the doctor's office? Winning. Is she typing something? I don't know. Shouldn't it tell me she's typing?
It's not that advanced, coach. Send a request to Google or to Zoom.
Do what? It's very
Send a
quiet.
request to Zoom to have it like have the little pop-up bubbles when someone's typing.
Oh, that's something I can hit in my settings or something?
No, I'm saying you should request Zoom and their new
Oh.
update to do it.
Back to Zoom. I'm with you. Kayla, while Kylie's typing, you got any questions? Anything you looked at in that playbook? Anything you've been hearing? Anything?
I've been looking at it. Since I've never played before, I think that a lot of it is going to come more naturally when I start like doing it. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Have
Because
you been watching any videos, like of people play?
I've been watching videos of all the girls' games from past, especially from last season. And Garrison and I got a ball, and we've been practicing hitting and stuff.
And then always remember, like, we didn't install a lot of the stuff we're going to be installing last year on the women's team. Like, we probably only installed about, I don't know, we were about 50, 60% maybe. We're going to be hitting it a lot harder now.
Yeah. I think that there I'll be able to understand the concepts more.
Yeah. Anything right now that just especially seems weird?
No, I just sometimes I get confused about the rotations and stuff and where like memorizing those.
Yeah. And we'll keep working on that stuff with you. Anna, questions?
I don't have any questions.
Seriously, none?
Seriously, none.
Which means I get to start asking you guys questions. How exciting. Colleen, do you have a question? See, you guys should have been asking questions. See how that works? Now I gotcha.
Coach, I'm going to say no, I do not have a question only because I've literally been here for like 3 minutes.
Yeah, but you can ask questions about the whole thing. That's what I'm saying. Anything about anything we've covered at all, the playbooks, anything.
We covered it all. I don't have any questions, but that's just because I talk with you a lot about your coaching methods, so I feel very confident in them.
Who invented volleyball, Colleen?
Who invented volleyball? William Morgan for the YMCA as a
Don't give all the information. William Morgan. Yeah, William Morgan invented volleyball. Who didn't know that? Sad. You're all sad.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
The only reason I know that is because he asks us I also spell Poughkeepsie, you know. These are the random pieces of information that I have instilled in my brain since playing volleyball with Coach.
Why
I
did
knew
volleyball get invented,
I
Mercedes?
forgot about it.
Why did volleyball get invented?
I'm asking Mercedes. Why did volleyball get invented?
Oh.
I don't know.
Multiple parts to this answer.
That is so bad. Oh my God.
Gotta learn. It's your sport.
Don't
I
ask.
know.
Anna, why did volleyball get invented? Kylie, why did volleyball get invented?
I have no clue.
Sad. Sad. When did volleyball get invented? Like, generally. Because they were part of the YMCA. Sort of.
That's half right.
Why were they at the YMCA? Kylie? Anybody?
Why were they at the YMCA? Am I allowed to answer this? Or are you talking
Sure.
to everyone else besides me?
Everybody.
They were at the YMCA because they were looking for ways to like spend lunch breaks, like chilling and being active. And so it was a leisure sport that people could do during lunch breaks.
So I'm going to give you the whole thing, guys. Ready for this? Here we go. There's a thing that was going on, one of the first versions of this, and we're actually undergoing another one right now. The Industrial Revolution was happening in earnest, and cities were filling up with people. The most popular sports before that were hunting, horse racing, things of that nature, even like bull baiting and stuff like that, which means just tying up a bull and killing it. A lot of kind of ruthless sports, frankly, were really popular. But as people moved to the cities, there wasn't a lot for them to do sports-wise because they were all crammed into small places. So they started inventing sports that could be for small places. In the Northeast specifically, there was huge chunks of the year that were with bad weather, and so they started trying to invent gym sports as opposed to like tennis and those kinds of things that were becoming popular. That's when basketball was invented. That's when volleyball was invented because they had a gym and they looked around and said, what can we do in this gym? What can we do in here besides calisthenics? And they started trying to figure things out that they could do. Basketball was invented. People loved it. The gymnasium started being used for actual team sports. But people were starting to look for things they could do during their lunch hour. They were getting off from their factory jobs, whatever, for a lunch. They wanted to go do something. So volleyball was a sport that was invented, and the thought was that it would be a dynamic, fun sport where you didn't have to sweat a whole lot. And you can get back to work, and it wouldn't be that big a deal. So if you're a white-collar guy, you could go in there and play volleyball and go back to work and not need a sprints. That's one of the biggest reasons that was invented. Also at that time was a thing called muscular Christianity. That's when people started coming out of the ideas of the church back in the day that your spirit and body were separate. People started realizing that you had to take care of your body in order to also take care of your spirit. It was the mindset of some of the Christians at that time. And they came up with muscular Christianity. If you exercise, you'll be better off, you'll be a better Christian, basically. And so that movement started happening, which is why the YMCA started opening physical education colleges. Bam. That's why it happened. There you go. Those are the reasons. There's more to it, but those are the general reasons.
He just had a mic drop moment, guys.
Anna, which country popularized the spike?
I'm just gonna leave this call.
You guys should ask questions. Anybody?
How to answer, or do you want someone else?
Answer it if you know, Colleen.
Isn't it the Philippines?
It is the Philippines. The Philippines popularized the spike. You can thank Filipinos for spiking. They popularized it, and why was volleyball happening in the Philippines? It was like in the 40s, 50s, 30s, 40s, 50s. Why did volleyball start happening in that time frame?
Am I allowed to answer this question too, or am
You
I?
can answer this question. There's multiple reasons.
Okay, I think logistically is probably that there were Christian missionaries down there, so they were teaching them.
One of the things that was absolutely true, and volleyball was invented in the YMCA, which stands for Young Men's Christian Association. That's one of the reasons it was starting to be spread around the world, because missionaries learned that they went to college. They learned those sports at the colleges they went to, and then went on missions and took those sports with them. That's one of the reasons. Why else? What else was happening around that time, Mercedes?
World War. I'm thinking
What
about
was
war.
happening in
I
the
don't know
40s
why.
that caused Americans to go all around the world?
World War II. I don't know.
World War II.
Oh, I got it right.
The other reason a lot of Americans started traveling around the world, and again, they took the sports that they liked. They started playing in the sports around the world, volleyball being one of those things. Kylie, how was volleyball scored when it was invented? Anybody else got any ideas what Kylie types? Rally points. No, rally scoring only started in the 90s. So incorrect. In fact, that is barely, like, it's less than 30 years old. Rally scoring is very new. What was very popular at the turn of the century? What
Baseball.
sports? Baseball. Coach is correct. Volleyball had innings.
I was about to
Oh, Dana, you rock.
In the original sport of volleyball. How did it have innings, Kylie? So basically, a server would go back to serve just like a pitcher in baseball, and you would serve, and you would get points for while you were serving. Once they broke your serve, the next server served on the other side. That was one inning. So once the other server had completed on the other side, that's one inning. You played there were 9 series of servers on each side. Whoever had the most points won. You didn't play to a certain score. You just served. You played 9 innings. Which I thought would have been a better answer to rally scoring. Everyone was like, we should do rally scoring so we can figure out how long the game's going to last. I would have rather said there's only going to be 12 servers allowed. Personally, that would have been a way more interesting way to play the game to me. I like that better because you can always come back. There's no time limits on coming back then. And now if there's rally scoring, as everyone knows, you're down 24 to 18. Good luck coming back. You're not. You're not coming back from that typically. But when there was innings, you could come back, just like baseball, which I think would be a much better deal. What do the ABP or the ABCA should say? Not that's the wrong one. The Pro Volleyball Association right now. What do they do to solve that problem? You guys need to be fans of your game. This is the current rule in pro doubles in the United States. How do they solve the idea that if it's like you're playing for match point, how do they accommodate that and allow comebacks to happen? Anybody? Anna? Anybody?
Win by 2.
No, that's still the same. So if you're up 24 to 20, my team is winning 24 to 20. How do they make it to where like 24-20? Typically, there's not going to be a comeback because if you get any point, you're going to win. How do they change that? So the answer is they play side out scoring for match point. In current pro volleyball in the United States for doubles, you have to serve to win the match.
Wow.
So if I serve and the other team sides out, and then they serve and we side out, we don't get a point for that. That's what side out scoring is. So you have to serve to win. Therefore, the other side can come back. So if they miss a serve, the game doesn't end, basically. They can go for aces. They can still, it makes the game more interesting at the end. Who popularized the quick set? Which country? Kylie, I know you know this, Kylie. Kylie, Anna, Caleb, Mercedes. You always think about this. Think about why someone would have invented the quick set. Why did somebody invent the quick set? Like, why did it become popular? I don't think they invented it, but they popularized it. They perfected it.
Can we get a hint?
That's the end. Why would someone invent that? So let's think about this. Would Russia invent that?
No.
What is indicative of Russian volleyball? Anybody?
Win.
They are giant and they are power. They're bigger than you and they hit the ball hard. So they would have not invented that because they were winning without that. In fact, they would prefer that didn't exist. Teams that jumped the highest and were the tallest preferred slow volleyball because they would almost always win. So think of countries that might have been a tad smaller, like smaller in population or smaller in stature, those kinds of things.
Poland.
And they're also very good at volleyball back then in the 70s, late
Germany.
60s. Not Poland.
I'm just throwing countries out there now.
In fact, they won a gold medal, I believe, in 1968 doing this. I believe is correct. 68? Yeah, I think 68. Now everyone's going to look it up. Because you guys can't think on your own. Anna, who do you think?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Japan. Japan perfected the quicksand.
I wasn't even close.
It was Japan. When will I ask these questions again, Colleen? As everyone's bored listening to me.
He will ask them during preseason as a way to potentially get out of doing some of the more tedious and exhausting activities that are involved in
Like
volleyball.
wind sprints. So I would be listening right now to the things I'm saying.
I would remember them way down in your core for any future time that you would ever need to know these. Like, write them under your sock. So when coach thinks that you're not prepared, you're always prepared.
On the male side, who was the player of the century? Of the previous century, who is the player of the first century of volleyball? Who did they name player of the century? Ah, killing me, guys. Anybody?
It is.
What?
I know who it is.
Yeah, so do I. Colleen might. Colleen, who is it?
Isn't it Karai?
Arch Karai was named player of the century last century. Best player of the entire century. Arch Karai was named player of the century.
Don't worry, it will be like ingrained in your brain. You'll just trust me. You'll like.
I'm expecting a study guide from you.
How do you,
Oh no, you just gotta remember it. You just gotta soak it
how do you
in.
spell Poughkeepsie?
Right, gonna have a Mulan moment. of having it on my right.
Poughkeepsie.
Kylie, how do you spell Poughkeepsie? Even though Colleen just said it. Anybody? Poughkeepsie. And what is Poughkeepsie?
Can I answer either of those
Mercedes,
questions?
what's Poughkeepsie? You should know this. You're from the Northeast. Close, Kylie. No, not close. Poughkeepsie is a city in the kind of the in the Hudson Valley of New York.
And
Poughkeepsie.
it's spelled so weird.
I don't know where that
Here's
is.
how you spell it. Poughkeepsie. Poughkeepsie.
And okay, so for those of you who don't know, I'm dyslexic as heck and can't spell anything. And so coach was all like, I'm going to ask you guys one day how to spell Poughkeepsie. And I said, well, if I write it on my arm, when you ask me, can I look at it? And he goes, yeah, but are you going to register it on your arm every day of the season? I said, yeah, if that is what it's going to take for me to potentially get out of something, then I will. And so I did for all of preseason, but I also wrote it under my sock in case the one on my arm washed off. And so then one day he's like, Colleen, it's not on your arm. How do you spell Poughkeepsie? And I was like, joke's on you. It's under my sock. But now I have it memorized. It's on my arm.
That. I might have to steal that because German is my first language. English is my second. So my grammar is awful. So that's in them.
What kind of server seed was invented in the 80s to take advantage of Karch Karai's unique skill set, enabling the U.S. men's team to win a gold medal in 1984 and a world championship a few years later?
I know this one.
What is it?
Swing service lead.
It's a primary passing swing service, yes.
Primary passing swing service lead.
That is what it is. What does that mean? Anna, what does that mean? Anna.
I don't know. I'm just sitting here listening at this point.
It means that the same passers pass every single rotation. That's one of the things it means. That's what primary passing means. In the past, they would just pass whoever happened to be in the back row or yada, yada, or even sometimes 4 different people, that kind of stuff. Swing serve receive means that even though you might have been passing near the middle of the court, you still might go hit a ball outside of the pin. And that wasn't a thing that they did before that. That's what it means. Swing means swinging out to hit. Primary passing meaning the same people. So primary passing, swing, servicing. That's what it means. It is basically what you all use. They just added an extra player. It's basically what everyone uses now, except for some people don't. There you go. Dana typed it. All right. They got to learn their listening skills, honey. Listening skills. Which team is very likely the best men's team in the world right now?
Collegiately or like countrywide?
Internationally.
Okay.
I think they're still number 1, I think. I haven't looked in a couple months, so I don't know.
Well, collegiately
I
in
haven't
the
looked
US,
at
it's
stuff.
BYU.
Yeah. They always answer to BYU. Anybody? Sad. Poland. That tiny little country has the best men's team in the world right now. Who has the best women's team in the world? This is going to be extra sad for you.
Is it like France or the US?
The U.S. We have the best women's team in the world right now. Currently, we have the best women's team in the world. Sad you guys don't know that. You should know that. It goes back and forth. We're not always, but overall, we've been number 1 for a little bit. We've been number 1 points-wise for a little bit, I think.
America.
Again, I haven't looked at it a little bit, so I might be wrong.
Unforgivable.
Who's the coach of the women's team?
Who's the coach of the women's team?
Yes.
Coach Cry.
Karch Karai is the coach of the women's team. The women became number 1 in the world after Karch Karai took over. Karch Karai is a freak show volleyball savant. He's a half a volleyball genius. Not to mention they also just got a bunch of really good women right now too. There's some really good players on that team. Let's see. How many reads does a left back have versus an outside hitter? Anna.
Versus an outside hitter?
Yeah, how many reads are possible versus the outside hitter?
Well, 4 altogether.
Yeah, but okay, I get what you're going for there. You're going for my general stuff. But what are the 3 reads for the left side versus the outside? Because they're never going to be line.
Over the block.
Yeah, so behind the block, we call it behind the block, but yes.
Seam.
Yep.
And well, outside takes angle too, so your outside can take angle if we're in the seam.
It's left back. It's left back, so angle is correct, but it's left back, not outside. Outside takes hard angle. Mercedes, which one of those reads is first? Angle, behind the block, or seam? Which is the primary read?
On the back?
Left back versus the outside hitter. So they are said the other team is setting their outside hitter. What is the first read the left back should want to do?
Seam?
Not quite. In fact, that's the third read. Colleen, give it a shot.
I'd like angle for 500.
Angle is correct. Angle is correct. What's the first read for the middle back versus the outside hitter, Kylie Berry? Seam is correct, Kylie. You have to put a question mark. Be confident.
A
All right,
circle.
Kayla. What is it called when a ball is hit from the other team's outside hitter inside 12 feet? Past the middle blocker, inside 12 feet. What is that called?
Who are you asking?
You, Kayla.
Okay. What was the question?
What kind of angle is it when the ball is hit by the other team's outside hitter inside of 12 feet on our side of the court?
Hard hit. I don't.
It is called a hard angle. That is correct.
Oh, yay.
Doing it. Anna, who invented volleyball?
Oh my freaking god. The guy we were just talking about.
Yes, we were. Billy. Oh, Billy.
The guy that coaches the women's team, right?
No, Karshkrai did not invent volleyball.
Okay, then I don't freaking know.
Volleyball was invented like 140 years ago or 130 years ago. Close to, not quite. Mercedes, who invented volleyball?
Crap. Wasn't it like William something?
William is correct.
Think
Also, his last name is the same as Vermont state animal.
horse. Think.
What's Vermont state animal?
Right.
They-
I don't know what to say.
Breed of horse that is very popular in Vermont. It's on the Vermont state flag.
Yeah.
Never paid attention to this thing.
Kayla, it's in Miss Larry's like 10th grade health class thing that you have to know.
Is it really? I had no clue about that.
Billy is from Vermont. I've only been here for like 2 years and I know this.
I know. I'm a native. I have no clue, though.
It is also a name that some people have. It's pretty common.
I know it now. Never mind.
It's a Morgan, William Morgan. What was the original name of volleyball? Kylie. The original name of volleyball. Colleen's looking it up. Kylie. The original name of volleyball. Mintonette is correct. She looked it up. You guys and your phones. Mintonette is correct. And then somebody suggested to William Morgan that that's a stupid name. And you should just call it volleyball since you're volleying the ball. And he went, you're right. That's a lot better. And it kind of caught on because no one wants to say Mintonette.
I am now writing all this stuff down.
Smart woman.
All right, guys. So no more questions. We're about hour 15 in, which is where I usually like to hang it up.
You can also watch the videos over and over and over again.
Try to watch some volleyball coming up over the next week or so, guys. There's some AVP stuff happening. Is that right? Is it AVP? I always forget the acronym for our volleyball. I gotta admit, I always forget the doubles acronym.
Okay, so question about the group me you sent out. So what did you mean by like we may be able to touch a ball sooner than you thought?
Oh, the protocols that the NCAA were putting out before were based upon quarantine and going through phases in order to make sure that we got we had nobody with COVID in the practices. But because our school is testing now twice, and that's why it's only a week long for anybody that has to quarantine, we may be able to touch a ball sooner as a result of that. That's not decided yet, but we might not have to wait as long as we thought to touch the ball, which is good. But I don't know that positively, but I just thought we could use some good news after all the goofy news we picked in.
And we still have to be tested weekly, right?
So there's two parts of that. You have to be tested if you can't keep social distancing or wear a mask. So if we're wearing a mask, we won't have to test. There's also a couple different versions of that, as far as what people's interpretations are, and they're trying to hammer out what the correct interpretation is at this point.
Okay.
So we may end up wearing masks so we don't have to do a bunch of extra testing
Whilst playing.
while playing.
Okay.
And if that were the case, if we're wearing a mask while we're playing, I would keep the aerobic portion of that pretty down low. And then we would probably do aerobic training, not anaerobic, like anaerobic endurance training, separately from that in some way, shape, or form, maybe outside. I don't know. We're going to figure it
Yeah,
out.
if we're doing like running, as long as I can take my mask off for that, I'm cool.
Yes, exactly. We wouldn't make you guys run a ton with masks on. No, that wouldn't be a thing.
No, that's. We're gonna
If we
make
do like running outside, I have a little issue. So like I'm allergic to something outside and I don't know what it is.
Ooh, that's
So like my legs, like if I'm running, my legs start like swelling. So we don't know what it is in nature that's like bothering me.
Well, it wouldn't necessarily have to be in nature. We might be able to hit some hard surfaces or stuff too. The idea of being outside is that we can do, there's a little bit more you can do outside as far as COVID restrictions.
I'd run laps in the gym with you.
Plus, when you first arrive at campus, let's be honest, it's hotter than an oven. The gym's
True.
20 laps around the gym makes a mile. Woo! That's Arizona heat for you right there.
We're not going to run a mile. That's not a thing in volleyball.
Woo! The end of the month is when we get like the thing about where exactly we're gonna be able to play, right?
The end of this month,
Yeah.
I believe that is hopefully that the governor is going to be giving, yes, some feedback at the beginning of this next month. Yes.
No, my boy. Okay. I just
That's
wanted
my
to
understanding that we should be getting feedback on this, but there already is feedback in place. We're able to travel to. We're able to travel. It's just this the most hideous thing I've ever seen. So
That was pretty uncalled for, Coach.
you gotta tell someone you're gonna wear a mask or something like that. When you can't just throw like scary picture at people and not have them react poorly. Garrison, you're muted. So yes, hopefully but there already is some, and that's the 400 per million thing. So that already is a thing. They already do have some guidance on that. And if that's the case, we can go to almost every place we're allowed to play at this point. I mean, that we would normally be playing. Like we wouldn't be able to go to Boston and that kind of stuff, but we can go to all but one of the New York schools, all of the Maine schools. We could go to all those schools. We could go to all the Vermont schools. Yeah. Now, how many people can we put in a van and do that? Now, that's the next thing.
It's like 3 people you can put in a van.
It's 3 people in a vehicle, which doesn't make sense if you're near a 16-passenger van. That's a whole different thing. So I don't think that's like you can put 3 people in a car. So I don't think that's the same.
I don't know. When we travel for UB, we use the school vans, and Tony says that there's only 3 of us allowed to be in one of those.
Well, that'll be something we'll have to ask a question on because that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out, though.
I can get my driving thing, Coach.
We may be doing something like that. We may be looking for volunteers. I don't know what we're going to do.
I had to get all my stuff for UB, so I'm like in the process of having them approve my stuff.
Okay. Well, we'll see how that goes. I know golf drives themselves, so we can see what happens. Any other questions? Good question, by the way. Good question. Kylie, where are you at the hospital or the doctor or some version thereof? Unless you don't want to tell us. Kylie has an awful ingrown toenail. That's my guess. My money's on ingrown toenail.
I was in the ER till 3 a.m. this morning.
No.
Did Garrison do something to you?
No, I got glass in my eye.
Ooh.
And then I drove her to the hospital and stayed with her until 3:30 in
For
the morning.
6 hours.
So yeah, I did something for her.
Kylie, sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot, dude. Yeah, no stress. So why were you throwing glass at Kayla?
She did it to herself.
No, I was
Okay.
closing a jar, and the jar broke, and it like splintered.
So I'm going to tell you guys a really stupid story, and then we'll close on that.
Wait.
I have an idiot brother. His name's Patrick.
Oh boy, this.
And Patrick decided he was going to break a glass on his forehead.
Do you have
Yeah.
another one named Peter?
No, I don't. I'll let Peter know. So Patrick breaks a glass on his forehead. Well, the first thing he said, "What would you do if I broke this glass on my forehead?" Then I said, "I'd laugh at you, and then I'd go wake up mom." He breaks his glass on his forehead, and a big chunk of glass is in his forehead. And then I go woke up my mother, and so we could drive him to the hospital. Exactly what I said. I'm like, first I'm going to laugh at you, and then I'm going to go wake up mom. And they took him to the hospital. And while he was in the ER, he told them that I hit him with a bottle because he thought that was funny.
Oh my goodness.
So that's what you should have done. But they would have arrested Garrison instantly. Better off.
Well, they said it was their busiest night ever. Like they had so many patients, and we kept getting pushed back.
I almost
People
got
were-
arrested, by the way. I almost got arrested. They came out to arrest me, and I said, "Go tell my brother I'm getting arrested right now." And I'm telling you, he hit himself in the head with a popple glass. And who could make that up? A popple glass, which is like a weird little stuffed animal that could roll into a ball back in like the 70s and 80s. And
That's
he's like, "I hit myself in the head with a popple glass." And then they were like, "You almost got your brother arrested. Just don't report things. We are doctors that aren't true." Yeah. So anyway, I almost got arrested for my stupid brother. That was the
That is
first.
crazy.
I got arrested for him 2 or 3 other times because he's my neighbor when he got arrested.
Siblings, man.
Not a bright guy. Okay, guys. Well, I think that's it. That's my stupid story, and I had to get that. So don't trust my brother Patrick. If my brother Patrick calls you and says he needs anything, just hang up.
I'll remember that.
Yeah, everybody remember that.
You're
Get away from
Garrison. Brother. Be nice to poor Garrison.
Why should I? He needs somebody to. Garrison needs someone to keep him in check. Obviously, without
Jesse, you're
having
right.
Jesse around, we need someone to pick that up. So if it's not
You're
going to be
right. You're right. I did forget to consider that factor. Sorry.
Coach said that you need to stay in check since Jesse's not around.
Yeah, so I gotta be mean. I gotta be mean to him, or else he'll just inflate. That'll be.
That would be very bad. That would be very bad.
No.
Go on, Garrison.
If I ever need to release, I'll call Jesse up and tell him how much he shouldn't be on this earth.
You don't want Garrison walking around thinking he could achieve his goals and such.
Garrison, we should make Garrison a mask that says, "I'm Jesse Streeter's #1 fan."
Yes.
Garrison will make you one. I'm in the mask making business. My family and I have matching masks. They have cows on them.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Embroidery letters on them.
I have a free mask that I got from the grocery store.
Aren't you
I have a couple masks in different colors.
guys?
And mine's glittering and it's putting little fibers on my nose, and it tickles me, and it's really hard not to touch my face when I'm wearing that mask.
If you guys need masks, my sisters and I make them. So hit me up.
I'm excited for the NVU mask.
I'm excited. Yeah. Coach, afterwards, I want to tell you about my doctor's appointment after everyone leaves. If you have
Okay.
5 free seconds, and since we're already here.
It's fine with me.
Okay.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, Colleen.